How you doing, Panthers? Welcome back to the Coach's Show. I'm your host, Fletcher Newman, here with Coach Wendel after a tough first loss of the season to Colleyville Heritage on Friday. Coach, what were some of your takeaways from the game on Friday against one of our tougher district opponents?
Well, we had a lot of self-inflicted mistakes that we made. I think first you got to give credit to Colleyville Heritage. They played a really good game. The quarterback threw phenomenal. He was throwing dimes the other night, and he's a very good quarterback, but he probably played his best game the other night. But but we made too many mistakes. Busted assignments in the secondary, false starts, fumbles. I think we had 4 or 5 turnovers in the game. So those are some things that we feel like we need to clean up. It starts with focus and a little more discipline during our practices, and we've worked hard on that this week.
Now, what are some things that the team can improve on going into next week in those practices?
Well, again, our focus has to get better. We did some good things the other night. Our first drive, for instance, is exactly what we wanted. We went 6.5 minutes off the clock, didn't have any negative plays, and scored a touchdown. So that was a good start for us in the ball game. And defensively, we did some really good things. We gave up 45 points or 44, something like that. But really, we got more stops or three and outs than we thought we would. We got some pressure on the quarterback, moved him more than anybody else had made him. So we did some really good stuff, but I think our focus and discipline have to get corrected in a hurry.
Now, obviously, sometimes it's hard to take away some positives from especially first loss of the season, but what are some of the positive takeaways that you have?
Some positive, we fought to the very end. We saw guys giving fanatical effort at the end, so that's a real positive. And we did some good things from an offensive line standpoint. And Ward played his best game, I believe, at center. I thought our offensive line, as far as going to the right spot, did some really good stuff. We had some sophomores that are stepping up and doing some good things and getting to play. So those are some positives as well.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the Colleyville Heritage game.
To start the game, we took 6 minutes off to start the first drive, and then get down here close to the red zone down here and have a play-action pass, good pass protection. Nobody's around Nick. We've got a crossing route to Tay Jackson. Good route and good catch. There's an explosive run by our guest today, Lane Martin. Plays outside linebacker and fullback for us. It's just an option play. Read well by Nick, blocked well by Jace Martin and Brock Cavender. Good explosive run by Lane. It's a good hard run to the right side by Ethan Hill. Good scoop block by Marshall Hodges there, and in Ward getting up on the linebacker to make that possible. Get pressure, move the quarterback a little bit. They can throw it up. We get an interception there to save a touchdown on that drive. And we have a misdirection counter play to sophomore Diego Benson, who's really been a bright spot. Have a good pull right there by Brock Cavender and Lane Martin. Good base block by Marshall Hodges there. And we have a good little screen play right here to Tay Jackson. Good blocking out front. Just makes a couple guys miss. Good play. We have Nick stepping up in the pocket and finding Riley Angel on a drag route. He makes some guys miss. It gets 15 yards as well.
Well, let's look at some of the Friday night results of the other teams in our district.
Mansfield Legacy lost to Mansfield Summit 39-7. Burleson Centennial, our opponent this week, got after Birdville pretty tough, 57-14. And then in a wild game where Richland actually came back and made it a 6-point game, Red Oak pulled out a 56-40 win over Richland.
Now, as always, you brought a player with you today. Tell us a little about who's here.
Lane Martin's with us. He's on our leadership council. He seems like he's been around forever. He's been a 3-year starter for us and has played a lot of fullback for us over the past 3 years. Has played some linebacker for us. He's been great on special teams this year and does just a solid leader for us, solid football player, consistent and steady day in, day out. in our program, and good leader, and really proud of the person that he is, and he certainly contributes on Friday night for our program.
Now let's visit with him. We have Lane Martin here with us today. Lane, what position do you play, and how'd you get started in football?
I play, like Coach Wendel said, I play fullback and outside linebacker, and I started football really in second grade with my dad just teaching me the ins and outs and how you should really play the game.
What are some of the goals that you have set for yourself and your team this year?
As a team, I feel like we really could be a great playoff team, or playoff-ready team this year. And Coach Wendel at the preseason gave us some goals to set for ourselves, and I think my goal would be more focused during the games. And then as a team, I really think we could be a state championship team.
Take us through a big play that you were involved in on Friday.
I think it was third down, and we really needed that first down, and I ran about 30-something yards to set up a touchdown for Ethan.
Thanks, Lane. Coach, this week we play another tough opponent in Burleson Centennial at Burleson. What are you expecting from this familiar team?
Well, I think it'll be very similar to the last 2 years. It's been a very close physical, emotionally and physically draining ball game. When you look at them, they kind of mirror us. What our strengths are, their strengths. What our weaknesses are might be their weaknesses. And I think we've got experience and solid offensive lines. I think we've got experience and solid defensive lines. I think there's some inexperience on both sides of the ball at linebacker. Both secondaries are experienced and fast and do a good job. Both offenses kind of mirror each other, so I think it'll really come down to 2 or 3 plays. I think it'll come down to who makes the fewest mistakes and just kind of staying power. Who has the staying power to stay in it the longest? And last year it came down to the last play of the game with 2 ticks left on the clock. They kicked a field goal to win the game, and we need to be 2 yards better on offense and squeak out a first down. But I think it'll be a very physical game. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it'll be a very emotional game.
What's been the theme you've been working on in practice this week, and how are we going to see that played out on the field on Friday?
We just want to play with some poise. We want to play with pride. We want to play with toughness, and we want to play with discipline. And that's really where our focus has been. I thought our kids have responded well. We've responded well to failures or losses in the past. We need to go out focused and play with a lot of pride and a sense of urgency this week. But poise or focus, and then the discipline aspects, what the focus has been.
Now, and obviously you've been talking about focus a lot so far, but what can you do in practice to help your team get more focused for the game on Friday?
There's got to be consequences for behavior, right? When you're raising a kid, there's got to be consequences. There's got to be consequences if you bust an assignment or if you fumble the ball, and we've tried to enhance those consequences a little bit and reward positive play, but make it a point that, you know, whether you don't get to play or whether you have to do some up downs or something, if you make a mistake, try to get the focus.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of the Coaches Show. Thanks to Coach Wendel and Lane Martin for being here with us today. This week we play away at Elk Stadium in Burleson versus Burleson Centennial starting at 7 o'clock p.m. Make sure to order your tickets online, have a safe drive out there, and follow all COVID-19 protocols at the game. See you next week.